Does the Gatemaster ever sleep in patch 8.0? One of you told me there's not much information about the Gatemaster online post-patch. After putting my jaw back in place, I decided I would go solve that. I knew there'd be changes at some point, so I shelved a previous video on the hero, but now it's time to lock the cell and throw away the key. At least, for now. Recruited on paper for 1000 gold and more tangibly 250 upkeep. You need a tier 3 settlement and the Jade building to recruit freshly. On foot, the Gatemaster strides in at 4128 health. Armor is a steely 95 with a mighty shield blocking 55% of small arms missile fire from the front. Even if that's not counting spells and cannonballs, still pretty nice. Missile resistance 15% will help with the cannonball part, not the spell part. Leadership 70 is quietly good. Speed 41 and short speed 46 means a very impressive level of cardio. That's better than the Alchemist in an armor 15 outfit. Melee attack only begins at 46, but I'm sure we'll get back to this. Attack interval is the standard 4 seconds, medium splash against size, so Jade Lancers on down, and no matter how many infantry are sent flying, a maximum of 4 targets are damaged tops. If its trolls are larger, it's one entity damaged only. Melee defense of 50 is very decent, but not great except for the fact this is a hybrid hero. Weapon strength 375 is split base 250 and armor piercing 125, and while this is much better than the 300 or 310 of certain casters, it's anemic compared to a bruiser of the Ogre Persuasion. Charge bonus is 25 and mass is 600. So this wouldn't be that impressive except for the health, armor, and big shield, except this is a ranged character too. Ammunition starts at 23 volleys, range the very respectable 160, so it's crossbow stuff. Each actual impact causes base 55 and armor piercing 125 damage. That means the shots are far more dangerous to well-armored opposition than the melee is, comparatively speaking. Treated as arrow trajectory, there are 2 shots per volley. Reload time is a default of 12 seconds, total accuracy a hyper pinpoint 80, where the standard is 20. Calibration distance 130 meters, meaning it's a little flakier past that. Calibration area 1 meter is the figure before total accuracy narrows it further, so this is tight for groupings. Penetration cap medium means more generous penetration, and an absolute max of 5 targets beyond the first are damaged, so it'll tend to cleave through infantry formations for extra damage. This operates much like an engineer in the Empire roster. This hero has expert charge defense, and therefore will negate charge bonus from infantry, cavalry, or monster when braced and hit from the front, but has no charge reflection mechanic to go with it. I don't believe there's any fire whilst moving on foot, and at any rate it's a cone, but I find the animations a little bit inconsistent with his character. I find the damage trickle going out to the enemy consistent. Fighting characters is not his best case. Ideally he's taking advantage of that penetration like a master engineer, but his immobility skills do work on horseback until someone shoves him around. Just keep in mind, ranged heroes look like they get animation cancelled from being shot a lot. Whatever it looks like, focus on what's actually happening. On a warhorse, health 4528, armor 115, with the same big 55% missile block chance shield, speed 78, charge speed is 108, charge bonus 55, mass 1000. However, this is now fire whilst moving with a 360-degree arc of fire. This is a training hero, meaning a boost in XP gained from in-battle earnings. On the map, the Gatemaster cleanses corruption, which is very nice. The agent actions are Assault Garrison, Wound, and Assault Units, 2/3 of the Holy Trinity, and Specialist reduces the gold cost of these actions. At rank 2, a single pip will pick Tactician, granting the passive of that name 55 meters of +5 melee defense and +5 reload skill for self and others. Equally available is Will of the Dragon, only 35 meters, but leadership +4 all around. Wind, Harmony, and Ranged Discipline are rank 7 standard 1 pip wonders for +10% spell resistance and missile resistance respectively. For the main combat line, Blade Master injects a badly needed +5 melee attack for 1 pip. There are 3 options in the next part of the line rather than 4. Full plate armor is +15 armor at 3, hard to hit +12 melee defense at 3, deadly blade +12 melee attack at 3, normal stuff. Foe Seeker requires 4 pips from these choices and is the standard speed and charge speed boost and fatigue decrease. Woundmaker is our plus 20% weapon strength boost at 3, Scarred Veteran our familiar plus 15% health at 3, Blade Shield plus 12 more melee defense at 3, and after 4 pips, among these, the old standard Deadly Onslaught for plus 25% melee damage and plus 60% charge bonus during its 31-second duration, 90-second cooldown. Immediately available at rank 2 is the Other Combat line, with Immovable Spirit leading it. Essentially Dig In with a more presumptuous name. Not moving for 25 seconds grants range plus 40%, armor-piercing missile damage plus 25%, and 15% more missile resistance for when masked Dark Shards try to ruin the fun. Beyond this, the mini line has Bandolier, 3 pips for ammunition plus 30%, Masterful Shot, 3 pips for plus 15% missile strength, so increasing base and AP alike, and Drill Disciple for 20% reload time reduction at 3 pips, which is a lot since he starts at 12 seconds. The capstone, Wall Veteran, is activated just like the Immovable Spirit it replaces, but the effects become contagious, spreading to allies in a 35-meter radius around him for the increased range, AP damage, and missile resistance. There is no extra condition applied, be this Fire Rain rockets or Crane gunners or what have you. That's what you get, at least until a mammoth comes in and bats him aside. I have tested this. It will work on missile units. It will work on artillery. In the same manner as the Alchemist, new army buff skills are unlocked at rank 5 and extra pips at 9 and 13. Optimized Logistics has a base value of plus 5% ammunition army-wide and can be increased by an additional plus 10% through extra pips. Preparedness Drills increases melee defense army-wide by 2, and the max pip level increases that by another 4 for a total of 6. This is for all units in that army. Now, I hadn't wanted to run my mouth last video because this was so new, but others have confirmed to me that this is a hero action on an army, as in, if all 3 were available and you joined a Gatemaster to an army, you select whether the Gatemaster is increasing training, or increases ammunition, or increases defense. They are not supposed to be running at the same time, at least from a single hero. And being hero actions, they are not supposed to run concurrently from other heroes. But in that sentence, supposedly is doing a lot of work, and that's a hedge against interesting under-the-hood interactions that aren't working as designed. So, keep the info coming and we'll sort out current and future states and if they're working correctly. At rank 10, the personal line opens up with Bulwark at the Gate, a passive that essentially increases the power of not moving. Being stationary at all means armor plus 15, being stationary for 10 seconds means armor plus 25, and missile block chance plus 25%. It'll take a lot longer for that Dark Shard swarm to whittle the Gatemaster down, though eventually they will. As a check on this hero's power, the next 3 pips are mutually exclusive, there can only be one. The Jade Standard shaves 10% upkeep from basically all your melee units, except Tiger Warrior Stalkers, because they're treated as sorta hybrid, even if the Redline skills treat them as melee, and provides melee defense plus 4 to all the melee infantry army-wide, including the Stalkers. Sentry of Metal instead grants missile strength plus 10% to Peasant Archers, Jade Warrior Crossbowmen, and Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen, you know, the so-called bow units as Satang was buffing, and gives upkeep reduction of 5% to those 3, plus 2 Tiger Warrior Stalker units, and provides reload time reduction 10% to all of the 4 units just mentioned, including the Stalkers. Reload time reduction is DPS in all but name, and makes powerful units even more so. Guerrilla Guard makes the Gatemaster an Agent Action Specialist, reducing gold cost of actions minus 20%, causing 10% bonus casualties when doing assault units, and a whopping plus 15% bonus casualties when doing assault garrison, on top of any other bonuses that exist. It's very interesting to have the extra bonus being against garrisons, because you don't see that much in this game. The pip after this, Bastion's Defenders, is a 100-meter cast range, 1-unit target, 90-second cooldown, 30-second duration, can be cast on self. The targeted unit or character is plus 24 melee defense and immune to flanking for the duration. Basically the Gatemaster saying, "Hold that position!" with a lot of expletives in a thick Cathayan accent none of us are going to understand. The last 3 pips are not actually dependent on anything that came prior, you just need to have the Gatemaster at rank 12. These 3 pips are also mutually exclusive with each other. The first is Volley Master, offering the Gate Master a juicy, mouth-watering, plus 25% armor-piercing missile damage, and, what's this? Restock! Oh, this is where you've been hiding it, yes gimme! Celestial Hunter gives bonus versus large plus 8 and melee attack plus 5, which means a net plus 13 against some ogre tyrant or other. It's there for a reason. It'll make supporting troops against big bads more consistent. And you can't run out of this bonus, like you can of ammo. Protective Onslaught gives the Gate Master plus 10% hit points, immunity to psychology, which was nowhere to be seen anywhere else, and Guardian, meaning friendly lords and heroes, and only those, gain plus 15% physical resistance in a 35-meter radius from the Guardian hero. And that's a wrap. There is no further capstone. So, how do we use the all-new Gate Master? It's important to emphasize that the Jade Standard is an option to give melee defense plus 4 to your melee troops army-wide. You have to give something up to get it, and you only combine this with Tactician in a somewhat limited range around the hero. Yes, that's a formidable boost, but quite a lot of this is like somewhat rebalanced Dwarf Engineer. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just to say that aside from the melee-friendly options, there's a lot here that's very classic ranged hero for Order factions. The final boosts are nice, but they take work and leveling to get to. These are not unfair asks. Having to pick between training, more ammo, and more defense isn't a trivial choice, and if you had infinite heroes, you'd want 2 or 3 Gate Masters, I suppose. This is a hedge against having too difficult a time using the default training action with a fully leveled army, or, equally likely, you're using a certain legendary hero who also has training as part of the deal, and you don't need a separate Gate Master doing it too, or that's going to be wasted. Only the highest boost is used. It used to be the boost of the last hero added or ranked up. It's better. The fact remains that a ranged hero is naturally limited. The immovable spirit stuff can be foiled by ramming a mammoth into the character, as I've mentioned. These are powerful boosts, but they are by no means unbeatable ones. There's not a single whiff of magic on the character, and being a missile tar pit is, if you'll forgive the pun, a double-edged sword of its own. I mean, if he's getting animation cancelled, is he really shooting? That's an interesting one. Where this character utterly excels is as a get-off-my-lawn specialist to force the enemy to pay a big price for cheap skirmishing tactics. Ones I abuse when the skirmishers are mine, so I've paid that price. And punishing YOLO charges. In the open field, you might want the Warhorse, sure, but in a siege defense, even a rank 1 Gate Master is going to feel like a nightmare to fight from up on a wall, and a really leveled one is going to be an even worse nightmare. It's not insurmountable, enough Spirit Leech and most things will fall, but the disproportionate amount of effort required from most forces is high. It's far from impossible. Crowd him and prevent him from shooting, and you've destroyed a lot of his personal power, but the issue then becomes, is he YOLOing you, or is he tanking for Iron Hail gunners that are ripping you to shreds in the meantime? It's not like there's a downside here, so grab a Gate Master today, make him your own. Give him the options you prefer, and go to town, city, hell pit, what have you. Consistency is the hobgoblin of small minds and big crossbows. It's not an issue of if you'll benefit, it's how much, and in which areas, at certain character ranks. Take care, and have fun overcoming the paralysis of all of these choices. Or is that terror instead? I'm sure you'll get over it eventually.